Hello, I'm Max from Isolation Game, and today we're covering Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm an old fan of the series, and for some time I have been buying every Final Fantasy game that was released, and I bought every console just to play Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy VII was my first Final Fantasy. It was summer of 1998 and I bought this huge pack of discs for my PC. I didn't have any PlayStation at that time, and I was amazed. My friend said, "Whoa, what's that? Super deformed characters, pink elephants. Wow, that's some bullshit." But for me, that was the most amazing story ever told in video games, and it had a huge impact on my life. I didn't finish it. The final boss was too much for me at the time, but it's still one of the most influential games. The only one I can compare it to is Demon's Souls. Comparing it to other Final Fantasy games, I liked 8 and 9, they were great, but still inferior to 7 in my opinion. The last one with the impactful story was 10, and 12 already lost this quality of storytelling, but still it had gameplay that was one of the best in series. I even play it right now on Switch. I wasn't able to fight my way through the 13, and for some time it even made me stop playing Final Fantasies because of the disappointment I got from this game. I also completely missed 15 because of the mixed reviews I read on the internet and not having much time to spend with the mixed bag of the game. Still, Type 0 was a good one. Crisis Core also a very good game. And the Dissidia game, the first one, was a step forward. If we look back before 7, 6 was great and I still play it from time to time, but I didn't play any other, so I'm not truly a hardcore Final Fantasy fan. I must mention that I really feel thankful to Square and Enix for that matter for staying true to the idea of innovation. Every Final Fantasy game is a new game. It may be a bad design choice, like in case of 13, but every time the battle system is anew, and the world is also remade from scratch. This is a very brave politics for such a big company. It is tremendously risky, but in the end, it's a huge reward for players. And I am grateful for that example that I wish for more big companies to implement. Even having Fabula Nova Crystallis, 7 had biggest spin-off history in all the Final Fantasy series. None other Final Fantasy game was treated that way. It was obvious that they had to return to it someday, so when the trailer for the remake was dropped, I had goosebumps all over my body. And it was risky as hell. After fail of 13 and after tedious 15, if they would fail with the remake of 7, it wouldn't mean the end of Square Enix, but it would definitely mean something bad for Final Fantasy series. Besides, I still think that 7's story is the best story ever told in video games, so to fail the best one you have is the highest risk you can take, and I admire Square Enix for taking it. Although I haven't seen anyone succeeding in a task of completely revamping a game and making it a new experience. But still, here it is, an unthinkable. I'll start with the good stuff. When it shines, it shines. Graphically, I can't even believe it is Unreal Engine and PlayStation 4. Sometimes it is so breathtaking, I'm speechless. Camera work, lighting, animations is top-notch. Music is also a blast. I love how beautifully themes are unfolded from battle to battle and from scene to scene to go into full force at climaxes. Voice acting, my.
I'm waiting, Cloud.
Story-wise, I am amazed how powerful it is to see those characters meet each other again. Once one journalist said for a review of Advent Children, if they would just sit and drink tea for 2 hours, I would still watch. I must say that directors' and screenwriters' work at times is superb. They know that I know and they use it.
Even if you think you have, it's not real.
Do I get a say in all this?
They play with my imagination and knowledge of the original story to trick into believing in what they want. And that is masterful craftsmanship. Many times I have found myself literally with wet eyes seeing and knowing.
I'm coming for you.
If that's what you want.
Overall, gameplay is good. The battle system is meaningful and understandable from ground up. It is great how they realized old ideas in a new way. But I can't say that I'm totally happy with the battle system to the point of wanting to master it. And that is what I thought just after finishing the game on normal difficulty. I won't play it on hard. Not enough fun for me. Maybe it will open up more on hard, but for now it feels a little bit unpolished. Even with the block and parry, it's still a simple button masher, and the strategy is hectic and not very much rewarding, even compared to 12, which I've played recently. I even felt sad sometimes that I can't program 7's characters like I did in a Gambit system. But still, it's a good battle system, just not the best. Other gameplay elements like side quests, chases and minigames are questionable at best. While side quests develop the world, the quality of side characters is so different from the main ones most of the times. They feel unfinished. Blunt dialogues and missions add to the overall tediousness of the process, not to mention the sheer time you need to spend to finish them all. It makes the game artificially longer than it has to be, and it's not a good thing in my opinion. Minigames, I guess it's the worst part of the remake. Button mashing to save the planet, Metal Gear 4 style, not for me. Although I finished them all. Chases, what can I say, they are better than the original. And that's all I have to say about them. Moving on to some other questionable stuff, I must say that some projected backgrounds were a disappointment that took me out of the process a couple of times. And quality of animation sometimes also loses the mark, but overall quantity of those unfinished details is very small. Sometimes voice of characters near you is very low, but it's also not crucial or game-breaking in any way. It was clearly oriented on fans, and I imagine that for newcomers, the overall arc is somewhat confusing at best, if not plain gibberish. I know who is Sephiroth, and I know why he does what he does, but even so, his monologues are too vague and sound like nonsense. If I am confused, how confused must be a new player who is completely out of context? For how long? For 2, 3, 4, 5 years to come? Until the next game comes out. And the final chapter? 15 years of wait? Now it's a spoiler alert. Now we're gonna talk about the hot stuff. I don't understand how can a new player grasp a plot twist with the destiny changing? At this point of the game, this move is clearly to give something new to the fans, and while it is a brave move to alter the story, there were not many good examples of such doings. I'm looking at you, Game of Thrones, and you, Hobbit.
Me.
While I admire the risk taken by the developers, at this point of the game there is no consistent story anymore. Characters just changed timelines, so everything is possible, and this is not Final Fantasy VII anymore. New players may ask, why do characters have to change destiny at first place? There is no clear explanation except for the destiny changing. Why did they have to leave Midgar? I know it, but I know the original story, and if I wouldn't know it, this would definitely look like crap. So without knowing original story, this one just doesn't work, and it's a flaw. It's not self-consistent. Deaths of characters in Final Fantasy games made them more memorable. The feel of loss gave weight to the story, and seeing characters from the original survive takes this weight away. It's good to be unprepared for what's going to happen in the future parts of the remake, but if they're gonna alter that moment, or let players resurrect you-know-who, I don't think it will work good on the character arc. Square Enix took a risky way again. I can only applaud to their boldness and creative freedom. I love what they've done with the first part of the remake. I would love to see them address the issues with the parts to come. I am pleased as a fan despite all the flaws. If I would have been a new player starting a game from scratch, in the end I would give Final Fantasy VII Remake 7 chocobos out of 10. For being inconsistent, tedious, and totally vague at some points. But being an old player, with all the fan service working for me perfectly, I'm giving this game 8 chocobos out of 10. It's a good fan service, and I would love it to become much more. Thanks for watching. I would love to see your opinion in the comments, and stay original as Square Enix does.
It's almost morning. Time to go.